Hi, I'm Douglas Lim. I am predominantly a stand-up comedian now. I started off as a comic actor, and then after that got into stand-up comedy, and I think I've been doing it right now for about 16 years. If my memory serves me correctly, I think I'm third generation Malaysian. That means my grandparents were already born here. My dad's side, so my paternal grandfather was such an Anglophile. Like this guy lived in Malacca, really liked the British. I think he wishes they never left. Uh, and then his wife, my ama, was a housewife. 13 children, something crazy like that, and like poor. So that's my dad's side. So yeah, my dad's got like, I think at that time it was 11 siblings, 12 siblings, something crazy like that. My mom's side, a bit more normal, and she was more of a KL girl. I think her mom, my maternal grandfather was, I think if you look at the whole family tree, we share the most in terms of talent and the entertainment side of things, because the rest of my family are not, I would say, are not towards the entertainment side. My dad is military, so very serious. Yeah. But my mom's dad, my maternal grandfather, he was in Chinese opera, and in theater and in the choir. Yeah, and so then my parents, because one was Hokkien, the other was Hakka, so they used English as the language, as a common language. I was brought up speaking English. That's my first language. My second language is Malay, because I went to school, Sekolah Kebangsaan. My third language is Cantonese. And then I used to move around when I was young, because of my parents, his work. My dad was a military helicopter pilot for Tentera Udara Diraja Malaysia. So we would go to the various Air Force bases until it was time for me to go to school. Then we settled in Kuala Lumpur. Yes, my dad grew up in Malacca. There's this house by the beach where he stayed, which like the conditions were so bad. They had no floor. They have no cement floor. It's sand. So like I remember when I was growing up in my little terrace house in Cheras, they'd be like, oh, you got to sweep the floor, you got to vacuum, you got to mop the floor, and that was a big deal for us. And then you would start like, last time I had to change sand, like there was nothing to sweep, there was no floor, it was sand, and so I think every 3 months they had to change the sand because it was so dirty. Yeah, so he was like, I think proper poor. And then my mom, that side was working class, in KL. I think it was Jalan Peel. I don't really know that much. Downtown, yeah. And they live in a flat, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So this story is, I wouldn't, bittersweet is putting it very mildly, but there is tragedy in the story, like real tragedy. So at that time, my dad was with the Butterworth, I think, the Penang, either Butterworth or was it Kuantan, one of them, and they were fighting the communists. It was active fighting, and so the communists didn't have an air force, so but they had booby traps and stuff like that in the jungle. So a lot of our soldiers went in and got trapped. And so no point sending the planes in, the bombers in. So you send the choppers in, right? So my dad's a chopper pilot. So you send the choppers in, and then they would either drop supplies or airlift injured people. And so somehow, this is according to the story, the communists managed to get hold of some anti-aircraft um, weapons. They would usually shoot. They would shoot at the helicopters, and then you get bullet holes, stuff like that. But it's fine. A chopper is tough. But an anti-aircraft, like a rocket, that's not good, lah. So my dad was supposed to fly a mission into the jungle to I think it was to get some soldiers out, but it clashed with his registration with my mom. My wedding registration. So he called a friend of his and said, "Hey, can you take my mission for this one? I've got to go to KL and marry this woman." So the friend was like, yeah, don't worry about it. Congratulations, have fun. You come back, we'll catch up. So you can tell where the story is going. He comes to KL, gets married, goes back, and like everything is very gloomy. What happened? The chopper got shot down. Everybody died. So yeah, and then as fate would have it, the daughter of that pilot, Zina Chu, is also in entertainment, and so we connected years later, and I was like, oh, your dad is that you? Which my dad, right? Okay, and so that would be a story from us. So it's not a cool story, but it's a very real. I think it's a real story. Yeah, he was officer major. It was one of the qualified helicopter instructors. So during Merdeka, back then, if you see the chopper flying with the flag, most likely it's my dad. Most likely it was my. Even if it wasn't, I'd say it's my dad. You can't see. My mom was a very dedicated housewife. She's quite business savvy, but she realized that her responsibility at that time was to take care of my brother and myself, my younger brother, and so she devoted her entire time to making sure we had meals. We were ferried to all our extracurricular activities. We were given help with our homework and with home tuition. She's not a very good teacher, though, but she's a bit impatient. but like she made sure we knew that was important. So if you don't want to come home and get scolding from mom, you better learn something in school and come back with the knowledge. Yeah, but she also, like, I think she helped her mom at that time. We had a coffee shop, so I in Cheras. So we had a coffee shop, and then later it became like a Adobe. So we had like this big industrial dryers, and then it expanded. We even got a clean room. We also did uniforms for, I think, some, I don't know, it was like a clean suit, like biohazard type suits. I'm not sure what it was. I was a child, and I know we had to convert one part of the shop lot into a clean room where you would dry all these things. So I think this was way before COVID and everything. So I'm not sure what happened. Might have been the Spanish flu. but yeah, but that was, yeah. So yeah, she's always very business minded, but she really sacrificed all that to take care of Desmond and myself. My dad was in the military until optional retirement when he was 45, I think, and then he went to defense sales where he would then sell the stuff he was flying. I suppose so, but I don't think sales suited my dad at all, because he was. I don't know if when you come from military, you are living in a very, what do I call it? It's a very not altered reality. It's a very heightened reality. I remember with my dad, he would come back and sometimes say the most unreasonable things because they live in a heightened reality. So, like no is no, even if it makes no sense. If he says no, don't even question. And of course, as a kid, you're like, what do you mean? Don't question. But then later, when you realize, how they do in the military, look, if he's leading you and you're in a jungle and he sees something and he goes down, you don't go, hey, why, yeah? You get shot, right? So, but that reality is different from our reality. Our reality is, don't watch TV after 8:30. No communist is there to shoot me at 8:45. But yeah, so we weren't very close growing up, because I mean he was weren't very close because he was very military like in that style. So yeah, but now he's chill. My friends were all so scared of him growing up at the time. They were like they wouldn't want to call the house, or they would, if he came pick me up, they would leave me and like run away. Like, uncle, we weren't playing with him. I don't know. When I finished school, my mom would be there in the car with a tiffin carrier with my lunch. Discipline was also very, very strict in my house. So scolding was normal. Corporal punishment was normal. Punishments was also very normal. And I think we've all turned out very normal. So no issue there. I think I definitely apply that discipline to a lot of aspects of my life, aspects of my work. I think I would say in comedy, I'm one of the more thorough comedians. I try and make sure everything is done properly. We've rehearsed it 2-3 times, so we make sure that, try and minimize as many mistakes possible. If you say sound check is at 5:30, even though in my head I'm like, it's going to take half an hour only, but you say 5:30, I'll show up 5:30, because you never know, while doing something might go wrong, and then you take more than half an hour, you see. So I think a lot of that discipline has stuck with me. But I'm not as rigid as him. So if my niece were to disagree with me or be petulant, I'm not going to yeah. First of all, it's not my kid, number one. But number two, I don't see insubordination as much as he does, I think. I don't know if this is a real memory or a fake memory, but I must have been only 1.5, 2. So I'm not sure we even make memories then, or whether a human is allowed to have memories at that young age. But the flat that we were living in Pudu, in Jalan Peel, caught fire. So there is one image in my head, and again, I could have made this whole thing up, but what I remember was being carried by my aunt, my mom's younger sister, my Ayi, and we were running down as the firemen, they were shooting water up, and I looked to my right, and the stairwell, and there was a raging fire there. And we ran down, but the house was completely drenched, and a lot of damage was done. So I think I would classify that as my earliest memory, because 1.5, 2. So then we stayed in. Then we got a corner little house in what do you call that? Taman Corner. Oh, I remember this one. I can't remember how old I was. But not that young. But it was a big water cut. The whole country was affected. Like major water problems. And we were back in Malacca, and Malacca was bad. There was no water. So we were all in the house. We was like, there's no water. And then my dad comes back with his brother, one of the brothers. They come back with like cement and bricks and materials, and they were going to build a well. So I'm a city boy, right? I'm like, what are you talking? I've seen these things before. I mean, okay, anyway, so they brought the stuff, and so we started digging. And it was, they brought the materials, didn't bring any foreign workers. It was just us, right? So the kids, it started off quite fun. We got our little spades, we were digging. It was a fun thing to do. And because our house was in Tanjung Kling, it's near the ocean, near the sea, the South China Sea. I think no, Straits of Malacca. What am I talking about? Wow, complete like deep South China Sea gave me. So yeah, it was Straits of Malacca. So we were digging, and then we found water. We're like, yeah, water, and you can't use that because that's the seawater. That was from the sea, so it's salty. And so, shit. Then you had to pump the water out. Then you continue digging, and you finally get some fresh water. And then you have to put the pump in. You have to pump, and then you put the bricks, and then you had to. So we had our own working well, which I can't remember, man. But yeah, it was substantial. It was and then because we also had a jambu tree, so it was like underneath the jambu tree. Stupid jambus all will fall inside, and then and then the insects, and so we had to put a net on top, the green colored net, and yeah, but yeah, so that was and we carved our initials there. So I've made a well. We used to play this game called Cap Gun. I don't know if the kids know about this. It's a but it's a small pistol. It's a fluorescent gun, so it can see through. And then you'd have white bullets where you put in the revolver, and then you had red bullets which contain gunpowder, and you put that behind, and so that when the trigger hits the gunpowder, the bullets fly, and so yeah, well, just rubber, but you can't like it's it's not like it helps you practice for things like Bersih Rally and things like, but it's not you know, but but it doesn't it's not very powerful. And so we would play that in the Malacca house where all my cousins we go Chinese New Year. So my dad's brothers will all come back. But see, you must understand, the only person with military knowledge is my dad. So he saw these red bullets and I was like, there's not enough gunpowder. You're not gonna fly very far. So he starts modifying my so my dad would like modify our red bullets, our red like the gunpowder. So when we shot, oh man, that was like unfair advantage. But I guess nowadays the young people would play this, but virtually lah. The PUBG, the mobile. But it's the same thing. It's just that when you got hit, you didn't disappear and then respawn somewhere else. You got hit and then you took it and you either run or you cover. If you cover, the rest of the gang gonna come and just they will unload a bang, bang, bang. Yeah, no such thing as sorry, like chop, I can no. Yeah, a lot of cousins, and most of them didn't speak English because most of them were Chinese educated. So yeah, so it was actually quite funny one because the language that we could communicate that was Malay. So there's all these Chinese boys. When my grandmother eventually my dad's mom, so she got really old, moving on in life. So we sold the Malacca house and she came to live with us in Cheras at the time in KL. And so she is this old school, Hokkien lady, but could speak Malay. So a lot of people think she was Nyonya. She's not Nyonya. And I'm Baba, I'm not, I'm Chinese. But you could speak Malay, and so I could speak Hokkien. So she would always, I should have learned, but I would come back from school, and then my ama would be there, oh, sudah balik? And I was like, yeah, oh, boy, penat penat. And then I'll tell her then, and even when I grew up and I started doing television, and my ama, because she's stuck in, what would it be, in the 40s, I guess, 40s, 50s. And she knew I was doing TV work, but she couldn't understand the amount of money that was involved. And so I would come back and she was like, oh, habis kerja. I said, habis. She goes, TV. I said, TV. So, dapat gaji? I said, dapat. She said, banyak. I said, banyak. So, wah, dapat RM50 ah. And I was like, wah. But what? You say yeah. Yeah, dapat. Wah, kaya. But RM50 was like her benchmark. Yeah. Whereas now, I mean, if you do TV in Malaysia, $30 only, right? Church. That was pretty much, it was either school taekwondo, but most of the time it was like Sunday school, so and church. And again, because I was there, and then because I'm entertainment based, and so in church you've got the singing, you've got the acting, you've got all that. So I was very interested in that, and that provided me with the opportunities to do what I really like doing, which is singing. And I'll always try and get the solo part, try and land so I can go out there, and then and acting as well. And I was part of the Opera Fest Children's Choir, which I think is still happening now. I remember saying Kam San Yok, and not really. My mom was. My dad's a free thinker. But like they would encourage that whatever you want to do, you go and do. So they held audition for the Children Opera Fest Choir. This is Damansara, and at that time, there were no highways, right? There was no Duke highways. There was like probably one federal highway, and that was pretty much it. And my parents, they would drive me from Cheras to Damansara, which I think was about 2 days. In a Subaru that had no power steering, like it was hot. It was so tough, but they would do that, and they would bring me there, and then I would see these other kids, and then Opera Fest Children's Choir was, I think, one of the first times I was made to understand that I'm not exactly a team player. Cause I wasn't too happy just being in a choir and not getting a solo part. And then when someone else got a solo part, I got very jealous. Like, why did David get a solo part? Hey, he sings better. Yeah, okay, so maybe I can do other things to stand out, and that was not tolerated in a choir. You don't, when someone else has got a solo, you don't do things at the back to try and snatch the attention. But then, so I think eventually went back to my parents and they said, your son is not really choir material. Yeah. Oh, I think I was quite happy to have him run. He was, he's a gentle giant. Now, I mean, he's bigger than me now, but growing up also, he was more athletic, extremely kind, like stupidly kind. Oh, I had to make milk for him because he was a younger one, right? And I think after, as a kid, you're like, why am I doing this? I mean, in my head, I was like, you had him. Like, no, I had no part in this. So why am I making the milk? So I think at one, I put a little chili padi in his milk bottle.
Kena bola.
That's it. It's like, whoa. But he struggled because he likes to eat. So I think he finished it. But he was such an amazing companion growing up because 4 years ago is quite a lot. But you know, so at that time, computer games, we had Game and Watch, I guess, which was this thing where you play on your own. But a lot of games you couldn't play on your own. It was with group, and so we played this game. It was a football game, like a tabletop soccer game where you take a shoe box and you cut up players. It's basically a cardboard like this, and you fold it in half, and so these players would stand this way, and you have a ball you made from a foil, and then you press it down, and so you kick it around, and so Desmond was my opponent, and so we would play that game, or we would play ice hockey by just like squirting water on the floor and just like sliding and stuff. So yeah, I think as kids we did quite a few home adventures. We didn't really go out, but we were at home together, and then we would like. I had this kid in kindergarten. His name is Andy Ong, and he was very clever and very smart, and he would beat me in every subject.
Kindergarten also got subject.
You had subjects, yeah. We had, I think, English and math and yeah. And the only thing I beat him was storytelling. Yeah, but Andy Ong was like, I think Andy Ong was his name Andy Ong, I haven't misremembered, but yeah, but I think it was the first time it occurred to me that I may not be fully equipped for what is the benchmark of success in the world that I was in then.
Had that talk as a 4-5-year-old.
Yeah, no, because he was doing well. That means he succeeded, and he was rewarded, rightly so. And then I think from then and all through primary, I was like, I remember just feeling very jealous of those who could score, who could get the results in exams, because in my head back then, as a child, I was like, they're sorted. That they've understood the system. They have the smarts and the acumen to succeed in the system, and I will have to find another way of doing it. I can't compete with them that way. I was in Sekolah Rendah Kebangsaan Jalan Pasar 1. Most of the people that went there were the kids of the people who worked in the market. So fishmonger, butcher, So the rougher side of life. Yeah, and so I was considered soft already because my father was military. This was in Jalan Pasar Pudu that side. Yeah. And so and that was I went there and I made some really good friends. One of my closest friends there his name is Lau Sin Wee, and he actually features in my comedy. So if you've watched my comedy, my corporate gigs, you hear the name Lau Sin Wee. So that was in Jalan Pasar Satu. That was also when I started taekwondo, I think, quite seriously, and train, and then eventually got into KL Junior, National Junior. In primary school was KL Junior lah. Yeah. And the demo team, the taekwondo, the demo team, and that was also pretty much how I met my eventually my wife lah. So it was taekwondo because she was in CBN. So yeah, she's not. Mine was a boys' school. Pastor was a boys' school. Yeah. And yeah. So I've got a scar here, 6 stitches. Nearly lost my eye. But proof that the supernatural might exist. Almost, man. It was weird, right? So we were playing police and thief, right? So as usual, I'm thief lah, right? So I was running this way, I remember, and there was nothing in front. Then I turned, just in case got any police chasing me, right? I turn and see, no police chasing me, right? I turned back, this pillar appeared from nowhere. I swear to you, man. Yeah, I sliced it, burst, smashed up. It split open. I fell to the floor, smashed it again, and I thought it was like, it's like a major headache. I got up and I touched it. Oh man, blood! It was all, and then I rushed to the hospital. Yeah, but it was 6 stitches lah. So standard one, and this was like I think for 3 weeks after I punctured my forehead here. You know the badminton court, the pole. Badminton pole has got the 2 things to tie the net. Yeah, so I ran straight into it.
You ran straight into
There was this game called Kretapi. I don't know you realize or not. Kretapi is this game where you follow the lines of the badminton court, and the Kretapi is the head. He's going to catch you. He's going to follow. It's like Pac-Man, and you have to run. And so I was running, and again, dude, there was nothing in front of me. Turn around, that was there, bang, smack it here. Oh, but that was fine. This one was 6 stitches, so that one was quite bad. But so this one happened in standard 6. Standard 6, we have something called UPSR, which is the big standard 6 exam, the biggest pressure a 12-year-old kid will probably ever face in Malaysia, right? The standard 6 exam, because not anymore now. Yeah, that was like because that determined which secondary school you'd go into, and if you did badly, yeah, your options in life would be severely diminished. Okay. So I remember my parents telling me that you're standard 6 now, you're 12 years old, you got UPS are coming, and you've a lot of pressure to do well, but after UPSR, you're gonna get a surprise. And I was like, trip, right? And because we were talking, we would talk about Disneyland and stuff, and I was like,
Disneyland.
yeah. It was circumcision, man. Primary school, my close friends were, and again, I'm not making this up. Okay, so it was Lau Sin Wee, Chu Sheng Kiat, right? Then there was Aaron, Mark Lee. There was Mark Lee and Alfred Kam, and then there was Atif, Saiful, Saravanan, Ganesha. So I think you can kind of tell that we weren't trying to make sure our group had representation. I think. I mean, it's not like we were like, when we roll in a group, we better make sure we don't appear racist and include all ethnic backgrounds. I don't think we just rolled with whoever wanted to roll with us. We just were friends with people who were nice. Okay, so agama class was always agama class, and we would always go to moral. I don't remember any other type of segregation. In Jalan Pasar, I think it was 50-50, and well, I would say like maybe 40 Malay, 40 Chinese, and 20% Indians. And most of the Malays were from the kids of government servants. So police, military, teachers, government servants, and then the Chinese kids were mostly hawkers, rascals and coffee shop owners. And we would play this game called Pen. Pen is basically so pen is you usually play on a school desk. So school desk, you put your pen, you just flick each other's pen off the table, right? But then we found, because our school had cut down this big tree. So they cut down a big tree, and that flat tree stump was a much more interesting arena for the pen game. And so we would play pen, and then my dad. So most of these kids who play pen would play with that skinny kilometrical pen, the really like really light, like those very skinny Indian fellas, like lightweight. I would use my dad's gold Dunhill pen, which he got like as I think it's a going away present from the military. I borrowed it lah. I borrowed it. How to play the kilometrical pens would fly, like spank it and like hit it and fly off. That's how I was champion lah. But then apparently plastic on gold leaves scratches, right? So then my dad found out one day, and then he made it very clear he didn't like the pen game. But I mean, he's military, like he doesn't like games. He doesn't. We didn't roam. We weren't like. I wish we were. Like you read these. Last time you read the books, Enid Blyton and the Magnificent. No, what's Fantastic Four is like superheroes lah. We're talking about kids, who used to go in a gang. Yeah, we didn't have that. Because a lot of my time after school was just extracurricular activities, and so I didn't really have a social life apart from school. So it was school, extracurricular activities, my singing, my piano, and then on weekends it was church. My taekwondo started in a club in Cheras called Taman Bukit Enggrik Taekwondo Club, or recreational club, whatever. And so I was doing taekwondo there, and then I got good enough to represent for the school to select me, and then I represented the school, and then the instructor there like, oh, okay. But I'm actually not a natural fighter. I mean, you can tell quite clearly. I'm not that way. I don't have the aggression, so I'm not a naturally gifted fighter. But at that time, I was again the discipline to just be good at what you are what you want to do. So I would practice harder. I'd be a bit more disciplined. I would go and run. Kids don't like running, to build stamina. I would run. And then I would try and kick faster than everybody else, be able to kick more. And as kids, you can't really hurt anybody. You're weak, so you wouldn't really get knockout shots. So you see kids fight, they'll just run. So the more kicks you can do, the more points you're gonna score. But I was part of the band, the marching band in primary school, and I played the most uncool instrument, the vertical xylophone. Yeah, it was this thing that you would cho in your pants, and you stand there, and so the rest. So like the drummers are the cool kids in the band. The bass drum, he's the biggest kid lah, right? He's go doom doom doom, and you got the drummers going pra pra pra, ding 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 ding. Some drama clubs in school where I would take part. I remember in primary school, and I think it's still happening now. Whenever there's a concert, as part of the choir or whatever, the teachers would like love. They look forward the most to this concert is because they get to make up they get to apply makeup to the kids. I don't know if it happened to you or not, but I remember, like, I'm singing a song about buah-buahan tempatan, about local fruits. I don't need to look like a clown. It doesn't make. I'm not, you know what I'm saying. So, but the teachers would, they would love that. They would be there doing makeup, and I remember looking in the mirror. I'm like, this is not helping. I don't understand. I don't even, and they, because then you don't know, right? They would tell you, you need to, because you're on stage. You're on stage, you need to. No, you don't. Makeup doesn't do anything when you're on stage. Makeup is there to soak up light so it doesn't bounce off you. We didn't have lights. Which school has face lights in their day one? I was part of a storytelling competition in primary school, but it wasn't in school. So I represented my school. It was in a mall. I can't remember what mall. Excalibur, yeah. Ward was I remember the opening line. Ward was a noble's page or something like that. Okay. Anyway, and I noticed. I think I won that one because I noticed what the other kids were doing. The other kids would do, and I think some of them are still doing it now. Once upon a time, a mouse dear. Like, who tells stories that way, man? Like, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? This life skill does not. Trevor, you don't go to work one day, boss, where's the report? Last night, I fell asleep. It doesn't help. So I think I told the story in the most mature way a kid could tell the story. It was like, Ward was a little, like, what, in Camelot. And I think that conversational tone maybe gave me an advantage because the rest were that was ridiculous. I never liked that style of storytelling anyway. And I like performing so much. I think in primary school, not in secondary, but in primary school, I think I got second place in a Syair competition. Yeah, yeah, not Sajak, Syair. Yeah, it was in church. Getting a solo. I can't remember, but because my grandfather was also a soloist. My mom's dad. Yeah. Yeah. So my grandfather was soloist, and so then when I was soloist, he was very proud. So he would coach me, and then opera. He did Chinese opera, but in English. So it's Chinese opera, but he can't. I don't think he can speak like Mandarin. I'm not sure, but so then it would be during the Christmas shows. Yeah, I think entertaining people and creating the product. So when I started songwriting, writing the songs was very interesting and very exciting to me. I felt that a real sense of achievement when I wrote one song, and then of course performing it in front of people was something that I really like doing. So my brother is, I would say, 70% tone deaf. Okay? So I would sing and he would sing. And I'm clearly going, you're wrong. That is absolutely wrong. How can you not hear it? So then I started thinking, what if actually I am also wrong, but I can't hear it? Because that's clearly happening with this fella. But hold on, if I can't hear that I'm singing badly, why am I winning all these competitions? You would think that a normal person would stop there. Then I would go, maybe they've been paid off. Maybe all these people have been convinced by my parents to take care of my feelings. Maybe that's why we're so poor, because all the money that they've earned has gone into paying for these strangers to clap their hands when I sing and give me a prize. And so, yeah, see how mental that is? Yeah, but yeah, self-esteem problems. Yeah, but eventually, I think I won a lot, and then I was like, no lah, I'm good lah. Yeah, but I think it's very useful because then When I started going to the actual professional performances, professional competitions, not school level, not church level, the professional ones, I think I could then see, oh, that level is beyond me. This fella is in a different level. And I could make decisions already. Do you think you want to put in the work to be as good as that guy or that girl or that group? Can you? Because now I was like, I can judge. Desmond can't sing. He can't hold a tune. I can hold a tune. I'm pretty good. I've won competition before. That person is amazing. So I think the self-awareness part was very important for me to learn and for me it's a very important tool for me to make decisions. No, I got if it's 5 A's, right? I got 4 A's. So that means I actually should not have qualified for VI, but because I won the taekwondo gold that year at Standard 6, so then the VI taekwondo master was the same taekwondo master as the Pasar Road taekwondo master, same guy. The instructor, no, in my school, in primary school and secondary school, same guy. So he basically wrote to somebody saying that, hey, does VI want to remain dominant in certain sports? In that case, I've got a guy coming in as champion from Standard 6 into Form 1. Yes. So then I got into VI. So because of, 4A's was just enough lah, but the sports side helped me. Then of course I saw other people there for football, for badminton, like dumber than me. Well, if you read history, and if our history is still the history that is what I read when I was young, because it keeps changing, right? Because we find out new stuff. But VI was where the Japanese surrendered in World War II. Well, not the Japanese who were in Japan. They didn't fly over and surrender in VI. But the Japanese who were in Malaysia, the general surrendered his sword at the VI quadrangle. And that was where, so VI is it's a lot of historical. We got tunnels from, Japanese would build tunnels under VI going to Bukit Bintang, and and there was they found munitions caches and the traditions in VI. We had now a lot of people, this expression to be just be yourself, right? This expression is very, very common now. No matter what you do, man, just be yourself. Just be yourself. You know what VI's motto was? Be yet wiser. Don't be yourself. You might be rubbish. Sure, find yourself, whatever the hell, but after that, be yet wiser. And so that was the motto. The people in school were fanatically patriotic to the school. We of course we achieved a lot of success in water polo because we had a pool. Most schools had training once a week where they would go to a swimming pool to train, and the rest of the time is they're in their own house putting a ball in a bathtub and trying to we had a team training in a pool, right? And so we were very good there. Our literary and debating society was pretty good. So I was there. I was in the Interact Club, so I would win the singing competitions. Yeah, it was one of the best schools, the more prestigious schools. I think my dad was probably hoping I would go to RMC, which is Royal Military College, because he went to RMC. But cannot lah. This I'm not built for soldiering. You mad, But I think my mom was quite happy that I got into VI. They were, I think it was a proud thing. They would bring it up to relatives, but I didn't get in the first selection. So I was in another school. I was in another secondary school first, and then I think about after 3 weeks, then I was brought into VI. So I came in as a new kid in VI. Not much lah. VI things not much. There was orientation, but there was no ragging. I think no. In Form 1 they don't do that. I don't think. Yeah. Well, I think VI was one of the first schools that emphasized your role in society as a student that goes beyond just studying for your grades and for your exam. VI made you assume responsibilities in your little microcosm of a school. So you would have to be in societies and clubs and actually take up real jobs in the club. So if you're a treasurer or a vice president or quartermaster, those were real jobs. Back, as far as jobs go, because students, you're like, I don't know, you don't make decisions. You just go there, you listen to your teacher, you write the correct answer. Whereas VI think, put you in those situations where you had to make decisions. The prefects board was so powerful. I had never experienced this before because in primary school, I wasn't a prefect, but teachers control prefects, right? Prefects then carry out the duties to make sure the discipline or to in VI, it really felt like prefects were prefects. Prefects were a board, were a union unto their own. Teachers would consult the prefects. Yeah. So our Rumah Sukan are the founders of the school. So we don't just go red, purple, blue, whatever. We have color, it's color coded, but so for example, red, if I'm not mistaken, red was Rumah Shaw. So obviously there's this Kwailo called Shaw who was part of the setup. So I was Tambu Sami, I was green. Tambu Sami, yeah. So then there's Lok Yu, then there's Lee Kuan Yew. No, Lee Kuan Yew is Singapore, sorry. Lok Yu, Yap Kwan Sing, sorry. Lok Yu, yeah, Yap Kwan Sing, Sultan Abdul Samad. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few more. A few more Mat Salees lah. Fletcher?
So this is like Harry Potter.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But yeah, so we have. So these were like the founders, and I think they set up the school as a tribute to Queen Victoria at the time. I'm just guessing. I don't really know the history. I have no idea. But we had a huge ground, our football field was massive. We had a skating ring. We got 2 scouts then. We had lah. Now I think one burned down. We had a bengkel. We had an asrama. So many. We had, and we had the heritage lah. Again, I was a very good boy, You must understand, I didn't really, I had none. So in secondary school was when I started going more into, I was still in Taekwondo. So a lot of my standard 6 gang went, Ganesha, Alfred Kam, Faizul, Farouk, Syed Muhammad Farouk, quite a few from VI, they went over. That's where I started into performing arts more. So Taekwondo was still very much what I was known for and what I spent a lot of time doing. And this was also when I was then national junior already. So national Bakat, called Bakat team. And so we would train 3 times a week, 4 times a week. Quite intensive. And then I was doing I was songwriting, singing, Interact Club. And literary and debating society, choral speaking and all that. Yeah. And so yeah, there was no time. There was
So your friends are the club friends lah.
Yeah, Taekwondo friends. And then we go to competitions as well. So we would travel and but I think I'm not sure if I started being funny then or not. I'm not sure, but I remember, so we had choral speaking, and I remember, I'm quite proud of this, that I wrote one of the poems for the competition, and VI came in second. Yeah, because usually they would go in with Roald Dahl. They would go in with Roald Dahl poems. And so for me, I wrote this poem called 10 Reasons Why We Should Win. And it was a direct performance to the judges as to why you should pick VI to win. We didn't, but we came close. We got second. BBJS got first. Or Sri Bintang as they are known now. Yeah, so I wrote that, I conducted that, and yeah, so that was.
So we're saying you don't remember exactly when you started being funny.
Oh, so there was the poem was quite funny. Because there were digs at BBJS, there were digs at St. John's and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, and then I was part of the debating team as well. We had the star debate. We had the Piala Tunku something rather. I think I want to say Form 2, I got introduced to Miss Saigon because I was doing piano class in this place in PJ called Emperor Music Studio. So I was very self-aware. I said, my skills on the piano are nowhere near these people. I was grade 4. There was this girl, Min Lee, I think her name was, who was 7, 8 years old. I was 12. I was 14. And the teacher asked us to play a duet together. And I played bass, you know. That means I played the easy one, you know. Easy one, sight reading. Easy one. This Min Lee girl played the treble side. Wiped the floor, man. She can read sight reading. I was like still finding a way. Oh, it was so embarrassing. And I knew that, okay, piano-wise, I'm not. But I can create. That was my dream. To be in Miss Saigon. Of course, not as Miss Saigon. I couldn't do that, right? And Lea Salonga it just nailed it, right? But I was like, hold on, I can be the Viet Cong lah. Americans wouldn't know the difference between the Malaysian and the Vietnamese, you know. Yeah, and so and then that started my interest in theatre and the performing arts. It was at the secondary school where it was action-packed, fulfilling, and I would say I learned a lot of useful stuff. But at the same time, again, it reinforced that I wasn't going to do well in exams. Because from Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, unstreamed. So Form 1, you just enter whatever class you have. Just my luck, in Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, I had people like Nazrul, who's now like a top, I don't know what surgeon in New York, who's working with robots to try and do things. Armin, I had who's like big financial guy. Rajvinder Singh, who's like again another top like doctor in his field. Like my class in Form 1 and Form 3 were some of the smartest collection of students, and so I was constantly bottom 10. I had never been bottom 10 from standard 2 to standard 6, you know. I was top 15 right? Still not Andy Ong that level, but never bottom 10. Form 1 to Form 3, bottom 10. Because all my classmates were really smart. And then in Form 4, SRP, I was the final year SRP. I think yours was PMR already, is it? Okay. Okay. Final year SRP, aggregate 10, I think. So by right, science stream. I was like, no way lah. In science stream, I think I'm going to die. Because my math was rubbish. So I got into art stream. And that's when, English literature. So then I started to be a bit more, confident in my academic situation. No longer bottom 10. Because of course, art stream also, usually the rest are all sports people. don't study. I entered a singing competition. I was entering a lot of singing competitions. And so I would try and manipulate the situation so that they have to give me extra points. So one would be to play your own instrument. You got to give me points for that. Although it's a singing competition, nothing to do with playing guitar, but I play guitar. As a judge, you have to give me bonus. You have to. Or at least you would in your mind go like, "Ayah, give bonus lah," right? Number one. Number two, write your own song. God, I have to give her. Although again, it's a singing competition, nothing to do with writing your own song, but try and manipulate it lah. So it was one competition. I went in and I wrote a Malay song. I think I can't remember now, but I wrote a Malay song, sang it, and then after me was another student, but he was from the special school. He couldn't see. He had visual problems. So he goes up there, he sings. I'm pretty sure I was better. I think, and the audience, you know, like from the audience reaction also, I should have won. I think he would have appreciated the winning hamper a lot more. And so that was a good lesson. And it also taught me to be a bit more gracious when you lose, because sometimes you look at the situation and yeah, you win, but is it okay if you don't for some situations? Is it okay? And so I learned to, I think, be a bit more gracious sometimes, and you know, learning that you don't have to always prove to people that you're the best or prove to people that you're right. There are times you have to do that, obviously, but sometimes it's, you know, my parents would encourage me, so they won't, like, if they see me writing a song, they won't go, "Why are you wasting your time doing stuff like this? Go and study." They won't do that. But they made it very clear that if I want to do any of this acting or singing and stuff like that, professionally, it would have to be only after SPM. That means before SPM, no. Yeah, only school and your extracurricular activities. So SPM came, and then I didn't fail, so I got a grade 1, aggregate 10 also. So that's pretty all right, and that allowed me to apply for a scholarship for teaching of English as a second language, TESOL. Yes, that's my degree. So that's a 6-year degree. MPIK, Maktab Perguruan Ilmu Khas in Bandar Tun Razak for 3 years. So 2-year matriculation, 1-year bachelor vacation, 2 years in Canterbury, UK, and then 1 year comeback final. Yes. So when I graduated, I would be a secondary school teacher. I think for me, I wasn't thinking about a career yet. I was just going, what can I do now? Because my parents had no money to send me to study. I mean, and definitely not to study art. So, you know, I just took whatever scholarship I could. And at that time, for a non-Bumiputra, I think you had to be really smart to get into the engineering. And I'm not science stream, so forget about that. So I think the only one that was open for me, non-Bumi, in what qualifications I had was TESOL. Yeah, and then also because I'm male. Most TESOL all these teachers are female. So when you're male, they really want you. So I had that to my advantage as well. And of course, English is my first language. And I had already done 1119. So the first 2 years of my matriculation program, my teacher actually said, look, if you don't feel you need to be here for this class, you can do whatever you want. Just don't mess up the exam and give your coursework on time and do well, you know. And that's when I did Kopitiam. Maktab Perguruan Ilmu Khas in Bandar Tun Razak, next to the Velodrome. Yeah, and so that's when I was offered to do the sitcom called Kopitiam. I was 19, yeah. 18, 19, yeah. So right after SPM, I told my parents, okay, SPM is done. I want to do some acting in theatre and what. And my auntie went and looked at newspapers, and there was an open audition by the Actor Studio, Farida American and Joe Hasham. And they were looking for actors for this play called Savages. And so I went, and I can't remember the audition. So anyway, yeah, I got it. And then I remember having to travel to, that time Joe and Farida they had this apartment. And I think we were rehearsing at the Day 1 Serbaguna of the apartment. in Bangsa somewhere, like Jalan Setia Bhakti, whatever. I don't know if it was. And I had to take 2 buses to get there. And I think it was 2 months rehearsal, 1 month, 2 months rehearsal, 3 weeks performance. Something like that lah. At Experimental Theatre near Padang Merbok. And I was there and oh my, it was $500. But I enjoyed it so much, man. Oh, I was just ensemble only. I was Brazilian Indian number 4 or something like that. Because the play was about this village in Brazil, and so the orang asli, and then eventually the land had to be cleared, and the chiefs refused to vacate because this was ancestral land, and so the conglomerate actually bombed it. I don't know if it's based on a true story or not. I have no idea lah. But so I was one of the Brazilian Indians. So then from there I met Joe Hasham and Fred American. After that I had to. I already started college in Maktab Perguruan Ilmu Khas, and that's when the creator of Kopitiam came back from England because he was studying in England. So Ng Peng Ho. So he came back. Now the names are starting to make sense, right? So Ng Peng Ho comes back and goes, I'm looking for cast members. Who should I go? So they tell him, well, Joe Hasham knows a lot of people. So he goes to Joe and says, I'm looking for characters for my sitcom. And Joe gives him my name. So Joe gives the creator of Kopitiam my name. And so I get called for an audition. And I was 3rd choice to play the character Stephen. Eventually, 1st choice looked too old. Because the rest of the cast he got were a lot younger. So 1st choice was too old. 2nd choice had to fly to the States when they were supposed to shoot the pilot. 3rd choice. And the company was like, are you insane? Was telling this guy is untested. He's done 1 theatre performance before. Damn good lah in the church circuit all. Choral speaking okay lah. But he has done no professional work except 1 Brazilian Indian number 5. Number 4, yeah. No. See, can't remember. Right? But the creator was like, no, he did this audition line very well. I want him. So I got in, and we also knew at the time, Joanna Bessie, Lina Teo, Rashid Saleh, myself, the 2 veterans who were there, Mano Maniam and Tan Jin Cho. And they had to deal with like these 4. Like for me, I think I was the newest, I was the fresh, and then, yeah, but that started lah, and then I got in the industry, and then the show did so well. So so skinny, how ridiculously lucky was that? Because that's not how it works, right? You know how it works in entertainment. You start, you get your first show, you are extra number 5 there. You do your 2nd show, maybe you're extra number 1. You do the next show, maybe you are speaking extra, and you work your way up. And even when you eventually land a lead or a lead ensemble role, it doesn't necessarily mean the show is going to be picked up for a 2nd season or even be popular in the industry. My first sitcom, like some people liked it, and next thing you know, like we get nominated for Asian Television Awards. We're going to Singapore. You know, I was nominated together with Gurmeet Singh of Phua Chu Kang. I mean, I didn't win lah. But I don't know. First year acting, what who do you think you are? Yeah. So eventually we only went for 1 year because 1998 happened. Commonwealth Games, and then Soros and his beef with Dr. M, right? So then the ringgit collapsed, and they said, okay, looks like we can't send you to the UK because the exchange rate was too high. I was already doing Kopitiam, so I was already famous. So I didn't want to go. I was like, yes, let's not go. Let's not go to the UK. And so we were supposed to go in 99. We didn't go in 99. I could still continue shooting Kopitiam. I told my director and my cast, I'm not going. Guys, I'm not going. They were like, yeah, I'm not going. And then went and pegged the dollar. So in 99, 2000, they said, oh, you can go. We can afford to send you for 1 year. I'm really TV star, no. So I went to the director. I said, sorry lah, you gotta write me out. I was so sad, man. It was so weird. Like most people would really enjoy going to the UK, right? You study abroad. But it just came to me at a time where I just wanted to remain in Malaysia and shoot and do comedy. No, it was a government scholarship. You go. Unless you got pregnant lah. Yeah, no, my parents were like, just get your degree lah. So I went over, I studied, and then finished, came back. Final year, they said, please don't mess about final year. Just do what you're supposed to be doing. So I did final year, and then I was posted lah. But but eventually I discussed and everything. I got to resume back doing entertainment. I not long lah, but I taught in a few schools, and my first one was Bukit Bandaraya in Bangsa. Second one was MGS. Why did they do that? MGS KL. I was the only. It was like me and the gardener. It's two guys. It was ridiculous, and I was already doing Kopitiam then. So not only was I a guy, I was a famous guy. And oh man, the attention, the unwanted attention, the toxicity of the staff room. You would never imagine. You'd never imagine. Because I would be there, I'll be in the teacher's room, right? And we are considered new teachers, right? We are like the probation teachers. So I'll be there with my 3 other classmates from MPIK, and we are there. And then those students would come in to meet teachers or whatever it is. And obviously they'd see me, so they'll glance. And there'd be a whole damn drama there. Like teachers would be like, oh, why are you looking at Mr. Lim? Is there something you wanna ask? What? So, like and I mean, I think it was inappropriate because you're making the student embarrassed, number one. But number two, you're making me embarrassed, and I'm supposed to be part of the teaching staff, So and now that I do comedy, I've met some of my my students who have come to watch the comedy show, and they're like, hey, you remember you taught me, and so the fact that they can afford to watch me means they're successful, which means I didn't fail them. After that, after Kopitiam was this long running Chinese series called Homecoming in Cantonese, yeah, and that one was like my trial by fire in terms of working in a TV production, because it was Chinese series. So here's the problem with Chinese series. It's every damn genre into one. No? The Chinese cannot, these Chinese dramas, they cannot decide what they are. Because I was from sitcom. In sitcom, drama is melodrama. So if you are crying in a sitcom, it's a different type of cry. Then when I went into Chinese drama, right? Oh, there's one scene where you break the fourth wall. Like you're talking to a character, then you look here, then you look, hey, he disappeared. Where did he go? Look at the camera. What happened? Like, wait, what genre is this? And then suddenly, father died, you're crying for real, Damn weird. But that one we shot relentlessly. It was like 14, 15, 16. I think there was one day I shot for 26 hours. And I realized at 26 hours of no sleep and all that, your face doesn't respond anymore. Is numb, and then your brain also starts to mess. And then like I remember I felt like nobody loved me. It was like a weird feeling. You felt like nobody loves me, right? And that was the scene. It was like, I think my cousin's birthday or my brother's birthday or what. And I was just, director was like, Douglas, you got to smile. I said, I'm trying, man. I can't. And then that was when I was given the option to MC, to do hosting, to do humor. Because I mean, acting is acting, but the money you get from acting in Malaysia is not as much as if you do corporate work, which is MCing. And so from MCing, then I became a humorous MC. Humorous MC, so I'll just crack a few jokes, and then I watched what Harith was doing. I watched the stand-up comedians. That time was only Harith who was doing stand-up, and then I watched Indian Ellen was doing sketch comedy. Then there was Jeet Murad doing Renee Choi. There was Instant Cafe doing their satire, joke kertas and all that. And then someone said, "Do you do stand-up?" And I was like, "I don't." I said, "But you willing to try? Just do it for half an hour. I'll pay you this much." And I was like, "I have to try. You gotta try." This one was a Formula One party in Beach Club. Of course, now as a professional comedian, even now I would say no lah. That gig cannot do. But back then I was young, I didn't know anything. The venue is wrong. Well, you must understand, this is a club with a big aquarium in the middle that had a shark inside. It's a club. It's a dance club. And, the lights are not on stage. The lights are on the floor. The lights shine the floor. And then the big shark is going up and down. And you've got, let's say, you're not the only one trying to get the customer's attention. There are also other people who are in the club trying to get the customer's attention. And see, a few more TV shows, hosting shows, then stand up. It was a Formula One party, and it bombed, died. But I enjoyed writing the jokes. I enjoyed that part, and so I just kept writing more. And then I think for 2 years I was doing, because you must understand, at that time there was no open mic. There were no comedy clubs that you could go and try 3 to 5 minutes and be faced with an audience that is essentially very kind, who are like there going, I paid $20 to be here. Even if you're bad, it's fine, When I started doing comedy, it was 300 people corporate. They would pay you 3,000 ringgit to do it. And I bombed for 2 years, just 2 years bad. I remember there was one, I was opening for Harith, and it was for the superstar legends of EPL or something like that. So it was Gary Lineker, Ian Rush, Kenny Dalglish. They were in Malaysia for whatever reason. I think they played an exhibition match, and eventually they had this dinner with also some of our local players, and it was Harith as main act. I was opening act, and I just died. It was so bad. They didn't laugh at all, and the biggest laugh I got was halfway through my set. One of them sneezed very loudly. It was a big sneeze. It caught me off guard, and that got a laugh. That got a bigger laugh. I didn't think I was bad. I mean, but it was obvious that I was. I mean, in my head, when I wrote the joke and when I did it in my head, I imagined people laughing. But then when I performed it, and I think again, so then more and of course Harith was there to give some pointers. But what I learned then was that, look, your material and your performance is not, that alone does not equal a successful show. Just because you got good material and good performance doesn't mean your show is going to go well, because you got to make sure that the attention of the people there are with you. In other words, make sure the lighting is focused. Make sure you close the damn doors of the ballroom. Make sure halfway performing the prawns don't come out. It's things like this. Make sure your sound system is all right. Make sure you ask the organizer, do these people even speak English? And find out, is it a drinking event? Is it not a drinking event? If it's a drinking event, what time do they start drinking? Get you on by 9 o'clock. Anything later, and it's not going to go well, And so, yeah. So then you learn all these other things that contribute to the show being good for you and the audience. Because ultimately, you want the audience to have a good time, right? But I would still, in a year, I would still get 1 or 2 bad shows. Comedy that's the beast that it is. That's the thing. You cannot, just because, look, I have done sold out shows, 3,000. I'm gonna ace this show. Who told you? Who told you, man? No, you can still do a bad show. There was one time, I remember, I just finished an MACC tour. MACC was me, Jason Leong, Kwa Jen Han, Poon Chi Ho. I think it was our 3rd or 4th year doing. We had just performed for what? 2 weeks. Sold out, 2 weeks show. 200-seater, I think, at that time. Theater. Tuesday midnight lah, but like Wednesday night sold out, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday matinee sold out, next week sold out. And the people that in the theatre, they laugh, and you get so confident in your ability. Then I got a gig in Singapore because one of the comedians couldn't do that. So Douglas, can you take over? Right, I went there. It was in Clarke Quay. I remember it was one of those clubs again, and again the stage had no lights because it's a club. There's an island bar right there. They were on full cocktail mode, just like lights were all on the audience. Canapes was going out, and I'm trying to do jokes on stage. Got nothing. MC had to save me. MC said, "Okay, thank you very much," and then I had to take the bus back that night, knowing that you failed. Like you completely failed. After 2 weeks of the high, of being the superstar, of being the man, right? And you sit in that bus on your own, you come back. I was still doing more corporate stuff, but then the open mic night started already by the young comedians of Malaysia. Chiho and Kavin and that bunch. And so they started. So they were the ones that actually started this whole grassroots comedy stuff. Harith and myself were just doing corporates. Yeah, I'm primarily a stand-up comedian now. I mean, I still act. Do theatre, yeah. And then I managed to do stuff in the Malay entertainment industry, which was a market that I wouldn't say it is eluded me, but I did not go and chase it. So I was like English sitcom, English stand-up comedy, English theatre. That means 60% of the country doesn't know what you do, No, even more. I think 70% of the country don't know what you do. And yeah, so then I think when I was about 42, then I started. 40, I started like doing more Malay stuff. Mostly positive, the experience. The Malay entertainment people are very willing to help. Very, very welcoming. I mean, they've got their own problems with efficiency. they really, they like feel good. You feel good. You're feeling good, then you perform well. Dude, we are 2 days behind. Don't care. Are we feeling good? The first time I did Malay stand-up in Istana Budaya, it was doing a Lawak Kedah showcase, and I did like 20 minutes of Malay stand-up, and the first time doing it, I wrote everything, and I was, I had experience doing English stand-up before, but this was the first time, it's to a Malay audience, and it was a lineup show, so there were other Malay comedians as well, and the audience really got my jokes, and the response was really good. They clapped, they stood up, and so I think standing there in Istana Budaya, seeing that happen, because it's a national theatre, doing comedy in your second language to an audience that's not yours, that was something good. I didn't get in trouble, but I was, I made a funny video, and corporate communication of a particular government body decided to make a report, so I had to go to the police station. But the police were very professional, and they basically told me, look, this is what, if someone makes a report, they got to call you in, so just cooperate. It's probably not going to amount to anything. It didn't amount to anything, but with social media, I think comedians, you have to be a bit more responsible about what you put there. Now, I can understand if you're doing joke on stage and some idiot shoots you on a phone and puts that up, not your fault lah. And that person should not have done that. But most of the time, you see the comedians, they get in trouble, they post themselves. This clip, ask their friends to share. And then you get in trouble? Not worth it. So just be a bit more mindful lah. Be a bit more. Is it worth it? Is it worth the joke? To then be harassed, because the level of maturity in Malaysia not that high. And people can get angry very quickly, and they can act out when they're angry. Are you going to stand there and go like, you cannot do this? They're going to do it, right? So it's like you're trying to to maneuver in, with and there's a bunch of these belligerent, petulant, spoiled brats around, but they own the place, so so just be careful lah. I went to Melbourne Comedy Festival. I did the stand up there in the Palais Theatre, so that was good. Got to go on ABC, which was I think that's the RTM, I know, and perform. It was really nice and got called back a few times. Really good. And then I got to perform at New York at Joe's Pub, which is at the Public. It's off Broadway, near Lafayette Street, and that was a really fun opportunity for my very good theatre friend Gavin Yap and myself to be in New York to do a show. Yeah. So I met this girl when I was 11. She was in the yeah, we were both 11. So she was in the CBN team, the Convent Bukit Nanas Taekwondo team, and she was quite ruthless. She would, because she had a short hair like a boy, and then she would do a chopping kick, which she'd bring her legs really and smash it on your face, and so she smashed it on this kid, and then the kid started crying, and I was like, "That's my friend." No, we didn't like each other at first. So I met her, and so like, I don't think she's damn good, is it? Like, then she was like, "Oh, this thing, that thing is damn good." We both won gold. I won, in the boys category. She won girls category. Then we were both national junior. KL Junior, then National Junior, under the same instructor. Both went to US. At that time we were 14, for the US Open, and then so then eventually became friends, and then I think we started going out at 18, 17, 18. Yeah. We were pretty good. Family friends also. Became family friends, Then after that we got engaged at 28 and got married at 30. Is that correct? Hold on. Wait. Yes. Engaged 28, married at 30. Well, no, but we weren't like going out then. I mean, it was 18. We went out at 18.
It's quite a epic love story, like.
No, it's not. It's not epic. I mean, it's extremely. I think it's very ordinary. It's. No, I think I probably fancied her when hormones started kicking in. Maybe I'm guessing 15, probably
For 3 years.
14. Yeah, because I mean, you're in school, you can't. No, I think you're also not allowed to. It's just you don't have a girlfriend. Then that's not something that's allowed. You can be a friend. We chit chat. Then I said, let's go watch a movie. This is at Rex. This is Rex while it was still a cinema, not Rex as it is now. This hip place. So it's Rex Cinema. We went to watch a movie, and then I have no idea what. Next thing I know, we're at a bus stop. I think went back to dropped her off at the place. Then I was gonna go home, and then I'm not sure, but like that, the story is that her mom from the house saw us waiting for the bus outside, and we were already holding hands. So I think something happened. Can't remember what I asked her, man. Yeah, because we're both not romantic. Both my wife and I are not, and also, I think no, I think what also not hastened, but like was a catalyst for me probably saying, "Hey, I've liked you for a long time. Do you like me as well? Is this feeling mutual?" I think what hastened that was because she then goes and gets a scholarship to study in Cambridge. Yeah, so we were 18, and she finished her A levels. She has to go to Cambridge for 3 years. Kind of lah, and then I think I was counting. That means when she come back, my turn to go, so it was we were long distance for a very long time. Yeah, I mean, I no, I think we broke up for a year. Yeah, I think because it was in Cambridge as well. She was meeting like really high profile people there, and then I was here thinking I was pretty famous. So, but yeah, we broke up for a year, and then I think I dated a few more people. I'm not sure, but then eventually, no lah. You connect for so long, I guess. Like you've connected for so long. But I mean, I think we both live very separate, not say separate lives, but we have separate pursuits. So maybe so that we don't what do you call it, smother each other too much. Yeah. So she knows she's unreasonable on certain things, like animal rescue and all that, and I let it go. And she knows I'm unreasonable on certain things like my choice of beverage and games of chance, but let it go lah. You have to negotiate lah. What battles you want to fight lah? Oh, no, sorry, that was another one. We made sure both agreed no kids before marriage. You go like, hey, ask it properly. Kids or no kids? I think I saw how my parents had to live, or what the sacrifices they had to go through to raise my brother and myself, and I was like, I don't think I'm up for that. So I said I don't want kids, and I asked my wife. I said, you sure? Nope, no kids. Sure. Okay. Look, our minds may change later. I'm not saying but so far our minds have not changed. I think I would say go for someone you love first. Don't look for someone who loves you. I think so. I think some people are a bit more careful, and then like see lah whether they love me, or like choose lah who loves me more. But I think if you go with someone you love first, and then then you hope they love you back, and then if that happens, then that's great lah. It's a gamble lah. I think there is a need for humans, and there is a greater desire to love. I think I'm just gonna keep telling jokes, and looking at how things unfold and making commentary. I enjoy doing that. I think people enjoy listening to me, and when they stop enjoying, then I'll stop.